Update. Am I the a-hole for telling my mother not everything is about my brother's disability and then yelling at her? Original post. I, 17 female, have been trying to save up money for when I move out in a month to share an apartment with my boyfriend. I'm going to go to university and my dad's offered help, but I know when I'm not in control of my own money, knowing when or how I'm getting it. I get really anxious about spending and whatever, because I used to have really bad spending habits. My little brother, 15 male, is autistic. It isn't a severe case where he's nonverbal or can't change or do anything for himself. At best, you'd think he's a little dorky. My mother has been known to not be the best about spending her money, despite having government assistance. And my dad constantly giving her money to fix her other money mistakes that she made with his money. I'm not so sure what's going on with all that. I think I'll get stressed if I ask my dad to explain it to me. All this is sort of just context for the situation. I'm also not mad at my brother as he stuck up for me before anyone asks about that. Basically, my mom reached out to me while I was sleeping over at my boyfriend's and asked where I would be working. Really out of the blue. She started asking how much money I'd be making, how often I'd be home once I moved out. I kind of caught on that she was asking for money. I tried to gently remind her that I'm saving up to pay rent in a little bit and start paying for my own things without an allowance. Then she asked if I could ask my dad to send me an allowance and just lie and say I'm not working. I flat out said no and laughed. She sort of huffed and said she struggles with buying presents for my little brother. His birthday was last week, and the things that autistic people like are really expensive. I told her that was the stupidest thing I've ever heard. I said not everything revolves around his disability. I was trying to say he is his own person. He isn't a person with autism. He is Ryan, which is what I was gonna say, but I thought she wouldn't really understand that. She zones out when I try to explain things for too long, so it came out weird. She hung up, and 5 minutes later, my brother called me and asked if I was mad at him. I said no and asked what was wrong because sometimes he just asks me that, so I wasn't fully assuming it was the phone call. He said my mother had told him that I said he wasn't important enough to have my money. He kept insisting he doesn't want my money. He likes me being his sister without that. This made me furious, not at him. I explained what happened and he said it was weird and he's sorry. He doesn't want present money from me. We talked for a little bit and it was fine. When we hung up, I called my mother back. She tried to go off at me again, but I just yelled that it was so horrible for her to say that to my little brother. And honestly, I just kept yelling. Anytime she tried to talk, I just yelled, which is what I feel bad about because then she got upset and called my dad. My dad called me to ask if I was okay, but I was still mad. So then I told him she was asking me to lie to get extra money. And now he's also mad at her. She's been texting me saying her whole house is mad at her now and saying she's sad she couldn't rely on me. She asked me to stay at my boyfriend's house for a couple nights because she wanted space and my boyfriend said it's fine. I'm really conflicted now because I thought I was in the right for how I felt, but now seeing how much it affected her, I just feel like a huge a-hole. My brother is telling me he still thinks it was weird and mean of her to try to get money out of me at the excuse of him being autistic. Me and my dad are very close, but he hates to argue with my mom, so we haven't really talked since my mom asked for space. I know my mom struggles with money, and it makes her feel incompetent at times as she's expressed to me. These reactions are sort of making me doubt my behavior. I know I'm at the least a bit of an a-hole for raising my voice, but yeah. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. Your mom's the a-hole. If possible, go live with your dad. I wish your brother would go live with his dad. Get a therapist to help you heal and get better coping skills. If possible, I wouldn't move in with your boyfriend. You have so much healing to do that I don't think a live-in relationship would be healthy for you. Unfortunately, my parents still live together. I wish my little brother could live with my dad as well. They argue a lot, and my brother overall just hates living there but obviously doesn't really have a choice. What's the plan for your brother once he's an adult? Will your mom ever let him have any independence, or does she see him as disability money? I'm not sure. He's still a bit away from moving out. I'm assuming she'd want him to stay for a while, but he's expressed the idea to me of how much he'd love having his own space. OP, does your mother have a history of addiction? But absolutely not the a-hole regardless. She is way out of line. She had been in rehab once before my brother was born, but when my father told me this, he said it wasn't for very long. Now for the update. I firstly want to say thanks for all the advice you gave me and the kind words. A lot has happened. Sorry if this gets really confusing. I've just lived through so much that little details are lost on me. Trust me, there's heaps. So, for the comments who had said it seemed like my mother had an addiction, you weren't wrong. Mom got arrested the other night for driving under the influence. Turns out my aunt had been sending her hundreds to near thousands a month for what she thought was special needs equipment, but was actually for, I bet you can't guess, ketamine. Boo audience sound effect here. After the fight about the money, nearly her whole side of the family was against me, and I still wasn't allowed back home. This made her and Dad fight heaps because he wanted me home, but my mom was literally refusing and was saying she'd call the police if I showed up. Then she got arrested. My dad called me and said I could come home from my boyfriend's. I asked if Mom had calmed down and he was like, no, she's been doing ketamine in this house every night and just got in the car drugged up. So she's not here means you're here. Get your butt over here. And that was it. To be fair, everyone in my house has just sort of embraced it. I don't know how to explain it. I didn't expect her to be doing drugs. Like, I was surprised, but not stunned. I don't know how to explain. Her and my dad are finally splitting up. My brother is handling this all right, I guess. I mean, better than most, I think. His response was mostly just, oh, and listening to what we said about the things happening next. How Mom wasn't going to be around much anymore at all, etc. She's tried texting and calling a few times, but I texted her one time. A big paragraph basically just letting her know I'm done. I maybe would have been able to forgive her if she didn't drag my dad down with her and spend every dime along his bloodline and have drugs in the house where my brother was. I don't care to know if she's going to jail or something. Even if she gets clean and has a come to Jesus moment or something, I really don't care to know her. I think that sums everything up. Sorry it's short, maybe melodramatic. Not for me, obviously. But again, thank you for all the advice. Have a good day, Reddit. Has any of your mom's family apologized? My aunt, but I just told her I don't accept the apology and I'm not talking to her either. Everyone else is either standing on what they said, or my dad is saying they're too embarrassed to reach out, but I just think they really don't care. Not surprised at all. Birds of a feather. Good on you for standing strong. Vitamin K, a guaranteed way to improve your interpersonal relationships. Not quite as good as meth in making you a good mother, but close. Mom's behavior was sketchy AF, but OP wasn't experienced enough to see it for as bad as it was, and it seems Dad was seeking to avoid the issue. But then Mom done mess up big time and made the issue totally obvious and unavoidable. So Dad finally found his backbone, and OP realizes that Mom was totally in the wrong. In a way, Mom did everyone a favor, maybe even herself. My doctors want me to try it. My mom, and I'm 50, said absolutely not. She's rarely judgmental about my life, but yeah, she had a friend back in the day go nuts on it. Poor OP isn't even a legal adult but has been playing emotional parent to her own parents all this time. It's heartbreaking. I hope Dad finally steps up. But more than likely OP will just move out and keep being an adult without the chance to process all the manipulation her egg donor has used her for over the years. Next story. My mom and her fiancé blame me for not getting married yet. Am I the a-hole? My mom started dating her fiancé 7 years ago. I, 16 female, was 9 at the time. She had been a widow since I was 4. They got engaged when I was 11, but they always wanted me to be involved in their wedding in a way I never wanted to be. There was some ceremony my mom found online where they wouldn't just get married, but me and her fiancé would become dad and daughter, and my mom and her fiancé really wanted that. I didn't. I liked him for my mom, but I didn't like him as a new dad, and that's not a him thing but an anyone thing. We were in therapy for 3 years, from ages 11 to 14, to try and work on that. But my feelings didn't change, and I didn't want to take part like they wanted me to. They delayed the wedding and wedding plans until I was on board with their plan, but I didn't get on board with it. Then my mom tried showing me a bunch of wedding videos she found where people and their stepkids did this type of thing. She said it would be so sweet for me and her fiancé to do it, and to think about all the good having a dad again would bring into my life. She campaigned for months on that, and she told me how special it would be. She even tried to make me feel obligated to do it for her. I asked her why I couldn't just be her bridesmaid or something. She said she wanted the wedding to make us a family, not just her and him a married couple and me her daughter. I asked why she wanted that so bad and why she couldn't accept I didn't want the same thing. My mom's fiancé told me several times he really wanted to marry my mom. I told him he should, because they've been engaged for years. He said he didn't want to marry her and be other. He wanted to be my dad, and he wanted us to be a family. I asked him why I had to agree to something like that for them to get married. I told him I wasn't the person wanting to marry him. People started asking about the wedding a lot more last year and wondering if it'll ever happen. My mom and her fiancé started using me as the excuse and saying I wasn't on board. I had to correct it so many times because they made it sound like I was holding mom hostage to not get married. I said I didn't want to do some stupid bonus ceremony where I choose him as my dad and he chooses me as his daughter. My mom said I was trying to ruin their wedding, and so they were waiting for me to be on board. A while ago, my mom told me they both blame me for delaying their wedding. She told me if I loved her and wanted her to be happy, I'd do this for her. And I'd do this for him so he doesn't feel like he's a forever outsider who'll be just the guy she's with and not my dad. She told me dad would have wanted someone like her fiancé for us, and he would have wanted me to have a dad I could grow up with. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. They're adults. They can't blame you for something that ultimately you have no choice over. Sounds to me like they're trying to guilt trip you. They've been doing that a lot, especially mom. What they don't understand is that you're likely going to run for the hills the moment you're 18 because you felt so suffocated by the pressure over this issue. They need to understand that the very thing they want, they will not get due to their continued pressure. I don't understand why they just don't stop. Like, haven't they realized they will never get what they want? This is dumb. They can get married at any time. They are adults. They don't want to get married without me getting on board with the whole secondary ceremony thing. It's selfish of your mom and her boyfriend putting this excuse of not to get married on you. It's not your fault for how you feel, and you don't need to be the grown-up in the room. They do. Not the a-hole. This is kind of sick, to be honest. You have a dad. He died. Your mom putting this kind of pressure on you isn't normal. It's not normal, but it has become our normal. This has been a regular thing for years now. Last story. Am I the a-hole for not wanting to pay to get vaccinated for a baby I don't even want to be around? Let me preface by saying that parents get the final say about their baby's health. No questions there. I have been dating this guy for 4 months. He tells me his sister-in-law is pregnant and is requiring everyone to get the TDAP, RSV, and flu vaccines. Again, that's their right to choose what is best for their kid. The main problem is that I am between jobs and don't have health insurance. Without insurance, TDAP is anywhere from $85 to $195. RSV is $75 to $100 per dose. Usually need 2 to 3 doses. And flu is $20 to $130. Even if I were to somehow get everything at the absolute lowest price, it would still be $255. That is a big cost for me. Also, if I'm being totally honest, I don't care to be around babies. I don't feel drawn to them. Maybe that makes me a faulty woman, I don't know. I've only met my boyfriend's sister-in-law twice in the 4 months we've been together. Boyfriend and his parents are asking me every week when I will get vaccinated. I have a hard time speaking up for myself, but I don't want to pay to be around someone's baby when I hardly know them. If the vaccines were free, I would not really mind, but I would feel weird asking someone to pay for my shots, so I probably won't do this. I am considering telling my boyfriend and his family that I respect the sister-in-law's requirements and I don't want to be around the newborn. Boyfriend's parents are so excited to be grandparents and take family very seriously. They will probably respond poorly to me choosing to not spend time with them during this period. At the same time, I've barely met these people. I've only exchanged a few sentences between my boyfriend's brother and sister-in-law the 2 times that I've seen them at gatherings. Spending hundreds of dollars on vaccines for people I hardly know isn't something I am completely comfortable doing. With all this in mind, does this make me an a-hole? Not the a-hole. You've been dating for 4 months and his parents are asking you weekly about this? Why are you even talking to them at all? I don't speak to my own mother-in-law weekly, and my husband and I have been together for 15 years. Just say, I don't have health insurance right now and cannot afford the shots. I will absolutely respect sister-in-law's wishes and will not visit the baby until I'm able to afford vaccination. Then stop replying to his parents via text or stop answering their calls. They shouldn't be bothering you about this. And you definitely shouldn't be seeing or talking to them every week. Heck, I've been married for 30 years and don't see his parents or mine every damn week. Thank you. It was a culture shock and I feel validated. We're seeing his parents so often and I'm not used to it. They are nice at least. In my last relationship, I saw his family maybe 5 times a year LOL. Be an adult and tell boyfriend 1, you don't have health insurance and you cannot afford the vaccines, and 2, that you are completely fine with sister-in-law's requirements, so you'll opt out of meeting newborn. It really is that simple. No a-holes here. Hey, I can't afford vaccinations right now. I'm happy to stay away for the baby's health. Don't worry. You're really giving this too much space to spin. Your reason is perfectly logical and reasonable. You are right. I've been feeling so much guilt about this. If they really want me to get the shots, I wish they would just offer to pay. They all know that I have no money coming in right now. I just need to state the obvious to them. Sometimes it's good to go through these situations that are uncomfortable for you. They are going to understand or they are not, but either way, you learn that your reaction doesn't change because of theirs. You still don't have the money, and it's still not gonna happen. That's what you can control.